the adoption of fees and charges, excluding what's in the annual plan. So, Mr. Carroll.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and Councillors. May well be aware from previous years there are some fees and charges that you approve through the annual plan process because they have to go through that special consultative procedure. There are some others which we've got listed in this agenda item which you do by resolution, so they're not required to go through that special consultative procedure. What you will have hopefully noticed is that there's very little change between the 12-13 year and what's been put forward for the 13-14 year. Those minor amendments have been highlighted in blue in the attachment.
I'm extremely pleased that you have rounded all those stupid cents up and down, rounded it off into dollars. I couldn't believe reading $2.20 and $3.50 and $3.60. Why do you have, if councillors don't mind, why do you have a POA on purchase of family plots, burials and ashes? Did some people get treated differently, or I'm allowed one cheaper than somebody else or something? What's that all about?
I can't actually answer that question, I'm afraid, but I'm more than happy to find out the background behind that.
Disinterment, reinterment. Oh, first page, sorry, 12/3, about 2/3 of the way down. Purchase of family plots, burials and ashes. I know you can get family plots where I think you get about 8
Depends on the.
You can bury them too deep, I think, too.
I think it depends on the size of the plot.
Does it? Now, is it a square meterage price? There is a set price. It don't get. Everyone gets treated the same, huh?
Yeah, everyone gets treated the same. I think it's a square meterage price.
So it should be how much a square metre? The plot I want's 10 metres, and the one Anna wants is 8. Oh, open and transparent. We're going to tender and auction them. Okay. Moving on. So we did actually workshop this. We've discussed it, did we not? Or was that the LT one? So, okay, we haven't done this one. So the only changes you've highlighted, well, recommended changes you've highlighted in blue. So it's really a pretty mechanical exercise until you get to pages 12.9, 12.10 and on. Councillor Williams?
I know we have discussed the pool fees with regards to the disruption and that we left those, but correct me if I'm wrong, but with regards to the gym at the Les Mills classes, the casual gym fees and the memberships, the fitness memberships, I had thought that we were going to address those, and I have to register my my total opposition to these rates staying as a subsidised rate when they're competing against commercial gyms. And I know from speaking to the manager at the event centre that should we decide to get commercially real on these rates, and maybe we could make some dispensation for people who who have injuries or who have community cards, but really I cannot support us competing with commercial gyms in this environment. And I know that from speaking with the manager of the event centre that should we decide to make these fees realistic, then it would make a huge difference to the bottom line of the whole event centre with regards to its ongoing sustainability and affordability.
Mr. Chairman, the fees that have been proposed there are the same as the fees that you set last year, and that was set after the annual plan, which we did put the fee proposal changes, to increase them through. And you'll remember that you had quite a number of submissions, and then you made those decisions. So, as officers, all we've done is retain the status quo from the decision making that you made this time last year.
Yeah, I understand that, Mr. Green, but what I'm saying is that I had thought that we'd leave them at that particular time, but we would address those in the future. And I for one, I don't know how the councillors feel about it, but I for one am not happy to see those retained at that level. It's not fair to our businesses who are in that business, and it's not necessary to subsidise people who don't have any reason to be subsidised and given privileges above other ratepayers.
Dr. Williams, I don't know that I can concur with you, because in tonight's paper, Jet's Gym is advertising $10 a week memberships, carte blanche shoots, 24/7. You've got a swipe card going there at 1 o'clock in the morning. $10 a week, $350 a year. Our gym is $500 a year. 6 months, $300 a year. 3 months, $200 a year. So I just look at tonight's paper and think, well, what I concur with is I don't know that we should own a gym.
Yeah, but at the moment well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand that gym memberships are more in the vicinity of $1,000 per annum. They might be having a special, but
they're doing a special at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got an opening special. Get in and grab one.
If you're looking at the commercial rates, they're more like $800 to $1,000 per annum.
Well, this is probably not the format. The only thing we can do in this format is address the what you charge, but you have to go out and call for submissions. We tried it one other time, and I can't remember if it's this triennium or the last triennium. This one?
Last year.
Last one?
Last year.
For the annual plan.
How many people up the back here? What?
It was the annual plan.
Well, whatever it was, but a lot of things have happened in 6 years. But when we addressed the rates last year, we got stormed. And I don't really have an appetite for that.
All I'd say as well, Mr. Chairman, just to add to that, is that that you can change any of these fees at any time by resolution. So by passing this today doesn't shut off that opportunity at some stage in the future. And secondly, we're currently as officers starting to look at the next LTP, which is when we'll be looking at all the activities in relation to the new Local Government Act, and this will be one definitely that we have to look at. Not saying that it doesn't fit within the Local Government Act, but we do need to go through that process. So the new council will get another opportunity at that stage.
For wellbeing straight away to mind. Why have you got a gym there? Because you're doing it because, okay, well, wellbeing's probably taken away. But I don't think today is the time and place, unless you want to do something.
I'd just like to, in that case, Your Worship, I'd just like to register my absolute, opposition to us, the Taupo District Council competing at an unrealistic level with other gyms in the town.
You want that minute?
Heavily subsidising. Yeah, I'd like that noted.
We'll minute that, and if there's no other discussion, I will put the motion, the resolution. It's not a motion, it's a horrible word, isn't it? Oh, sorry, Councillor Hickling.
Yeah, just a comment. I mean, we've had a deputation from Turangi regarding their pool. Yeah, their rates are quite, a little bit cheaper than the AC baths for just about all the categories.
Maybe in the workshop
it might only be $1 or $2, but I mean, the entry fees for a swimming pool probably should be consistent with all the pools that we've got, perhaps. I don't know.
Probably a little bit, it's bigger and it's everything. But Councillor Henderson.
Yeah, just in response to Councillor Hickling, valid point worth consideration, I think. It's important to remember that when the Turangi pool was built on a 95% public good basis, whereas the Taupo one is built and run and operated on a 50-50 basis. But I think the important thing to remember is when that decision was made, the rating system was significantly different, and that the cost of operating that pool was ring-fenced for the Turangi-Tongariro area. It's now a district asset, and the district pays for it, as they do for the AC bars.
I mean, it's not going to make a great deal of difference, admittedly, but it's just consistency with the same asset of council.
Okay, so there's a resolution that Council adopts the adapted schedule of fees and charges for 13 to 14. Mover, please. Move. Councillor Johnson, seconder. Councillor Crate. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Councillor Williams.